Good evening, Tillamook High School basketball fans. This is OSAA, U.S. Bank and Les Schwab Tires State Championship basketball action from Pacific University. The Tillamook High School Cheesemakers, part of the Final Eight in the state as they take on the Banks Braves. There will be 3 Kawapa League teams in the Final Four this year at the 4A level. We knew all year long that the Kawapa League was good. I don't know if we had any idea it was this good, as 3 out of the Final 4 will be in the semifinals. Seaside Valley Catholic have both gotten there already, and either Banks or Tillamook will be the third to join North Bend as the 4th team in the championship side of the bracket. The winner of this game today will finish either 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 5th. 5th, no worse than if you win this game today, but a tough game ahead for the Cheesemakers, who have played the Banks Braves 3 times this year, and they've fallen to them all 3 times. They fell in Tillamook by 8, 67-59. They fell by 14 in Game 2 in Banks, 66-51. And in the final game, the play-in or play-off game, the Cheesemakers fell out there as well in Banks by 14. And so the Cheesemakers are 0-3 against the Banks Braves, but they have one more shot, and this is the only one that really matters. And it's going to happen right here on the Pacific University floor in the state Final 8 team bracket of the state championship tournament. Cheesemakers and the Banks Braves coming your way over FM 95.9 KTIL in Tillamook. We're going to talk to Tillamook head coach Greg Werner after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball and warm-up time brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Tillamook Cheesemakers come in tonight's game playing their best basketball of the year. Now can they finish it up again in the 3-day tournament, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? You have to win a game to play on Saturday, and if you get to Saturday, you come home with some hardware, with a trophy, and the Cheesemakers hope to do just that after huge upsets, back-to-back, first in Ontario and second against the number 2 ranked team in the state and second seeded team in the state, the LeGrand Tigers. The Cheesemakers and Banks Braves coming your way. We talked to Tillamook head coach Greg Werner about tonight's game, and here's what Greg had to say. Greg, you come off a great win over in LeGrand, coming into the state tournament, final 8 teams in the state. First of all, surprised? I think most people are. Are you as well?
I don't know if I'm surprised. We just were able to get our focus on, and I think a big part of it was our trip to Ontario. We were able to spend some time together, and actually a lot of time together, especially in the busette. But those are the things that in the bond teams together, and we had some things that we got cleared up during the Ontario game, and then I think that it transferred into the LeGrand game, and the aspect that Ian really started to manage the game, and then we seemed to be in better sync because they were very, very athletic, on the road. So that was a really good win for us, and I was just excited for the kids. I don't know that I'm surprised, but I'm excited for them because there's a lot of teams that were rolled over a lot earlier because nobody expected us to win, and so that's a tribute to our kids for sticking with each other.
So as you look back at that LeGrand game, Cheesemakers really had every reason to come out, maybe be a little bit tentative, a little bit scared. They're playing a highly ranked team in their own house and stuff, and yet your kids were the most aggressive team the entire time. They came out and played to win and didn't play not to lose.
Well, yeah, and we're watching, the Kawapa teams playing right now. We watched Seaside earlier today, and that really, I think, allowed all of us to be prepared for this. Hopefully, we haven't played yet, but Valley's doing really well, and so I think through that, through the league, that was a good way to get us prepared to play, on the road, long ways away, and we respect them. We don't fear them, but so that I think that was a major key for us was being able to, go through league and be battle tested, and that helped us get a couple of road wins that I don't think anybody really expected.
So what do you expect out of your kids tonight? Do they come back really excited, ready to play? Do you think they'll come in tentative tonight? You're playing a team that's beaten you 3 times this year. What do you expect the attitude to be?
You asked me that question going to Ontario and LeGrand, and it's a fun bunch. Sometimes they do some things that are kind of quacky, but they stick together. They play hard. Our key tonight will be to stop Rennie. He's the head of the snake, and it's a really tough matchup for us because he's taller than our guards, and he's able to go around our bigs. So we really have to keep focus on him. And then Goebel is the other part of that equation. He gets everything inside, and so it'll be a major challenge for us tonight. We're excited for it, and the bus trip was only an hour over, so they were excited for that too. But I would say that Banks could win the whole thing, or they're kind of like us. They're a hard matchup. So tonight it'll be important to keep Rennie in front of us, as well as the rebounds.
So as you look at how you play them tonight, you've taken 2 different approaches in the first 3 games. You've gone with a zone. They hurt you from the outside. You went with a man-to-man, played well for 3 quarters with them, and then they posted up. What do you do tonight?
I think it's a little bit of everything because they adjust well, and then all the games we put them to the line, and that's where Rennie gets a lot of his points. And again, it's a tough matchup for us because you got 5'9" going up against 6'6", so it's just something we have to adjust to. Try to keep him in front of us and not give them extra opportunities. Up there at their place, the last time we played them for the league, 3rd and 4th place in the league, we had so many turnovers. So it was kind of hard to figure out, what to expect this next time. Hopefully we take care of the ball for one, and that, we're able to move it like we have the last couple games, and share the ball, make them play defense. I think that's been the biggest thing that we've done offensively is we've been able to move the ball effectively, efficiently, and then get our shooters good looks, and then we can rebound and set our defense instead of turnovers and chasing and fouling. And you get this whole different aspect when you're in that, when you're in that situation. So I would say, tonight we're just gonna do what we can, try to manage that, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
So obviously a huge success just getting here, 11-16 on the year. It's not like anybody expected you to be in the final 8, but you are. If we were going to talk again on Sunday or Monday and you're looking back, what at this point would you look at this tournament as being a success? What do you have to do to be able to say, yeah, that was a good tournament for us?
Just the little things. Like I talked about Ian managing the game and guys playing their role. And in the heat of the moment, there's times where I'm having to get after. Coaches have to say things that nobody else in the world will say to them, and we say it with love, but it's still being said, and it's in the heat of the moment. And so for us, I would say, regardless of win or loss, if we come out of this, it can be used as a major springboard for the next year. Now the seniors are gone, but we want to be able to play our position, play 5-on-5, and not beat ourselves. And you do that by sharing the ball, hitting the open guy, and then defensively covering for each other. Regardless if it's your man or your area, whatever it is, you find a way to get there, and you get the extra possessions. And so we've really had to, I don't want to say teach this group how to compete, but it's kind of that way. It's like, okay, we worked on this, and we didn't have success with this, so this is how we counter that. And a lot of times it's the smallest little thing that you make an adjustment, and it has a huge impact on the game. So we're looking for those little things coming from the players. Like when they come back to me and say, hey, I see this, then that tells me that the maturation process is starting to take place. It's a hard process, and I can't tell you when it's going to click. It's just that it's like the LeGrand game. It clicked free, and he was managing the game, which is not an easy thing to do because you got 5 different personalities. You got the coach yelling at you, got the other players coming at. So, he's done a masterful job of that, and the other players, have stepped up. Jake hit some big shots for us, which we desperately needed. And Jackson had the most assists he's probably ever had in the game, and there's just little things, that add up that may not go in the scorebook. So that's what we'll talk to him about pregame. Is you win your battle, we'll win the war.
And again, we'd like to thank Greg Warner for his comments for tonight's game on warm-up time. We'll be back with more warm-up time after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball. This OSAA State Championship basketball action sponsored by the Les Schwab Tire Center and U.S. Bank. The Cheesemakers and the Banks Braves coming your way over FM 95.9 KTIL in Tillamook. At U.S. Bank, we came together to support our customers and our communities. We're pleased to champion athletic and activity-based programs that enrich the quality of life for everyone. You can count on every U.S. Banker to serve you and to cheer on the spirit of teamwork. From the start of the game to the final whistle, U.S. Bank is proud to support the OSAA. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. The Cheesemakers come in on a roll. Can they keep that going as they take on the Banks Braves? Earlier today, Seaside struggled with Gladstone. Gladstone actually had a shot with 2 seconds left in the game to tie it up, as Seaside hung on for the win, 46-43. Seaside moves into the championship semifinals tomorrow afternoon at 3:15 at Forest Grove High School, and they will face North Bend, who upset Philomath, the 5 seed versus the 4, as North Bend beat Philomath 61-51. And then, right before our game, Valley Catholic just handled Henley, and Valley Catholic looks to be the class of the tournament, except we know they've already gotten beat twice by Seaside and once by Banks. All of a sudden you go, what? Not by Banks, but you go, what? How can that happen? As Seaside beats them twice. Seaside had no size at all, but Seaside's a really good basketball team, and the Coapa League looks and is the class of the state. You look at this game. Banks comes in at 17-6, and they have the second most losses in the tournament, behind Tillamook, who has 16. I mean, everybody looks at Tillamook, and they've been coming up to me all day long saying, how in the world did you get here? The other 7 teams average 4 losses apiece on the year. Tillamook has 16. All that doesn't matter when you toss the ball up, and that's what LeGrand found out as Cheesemakers picked up the victory over in LeGrand, and just one of the greatest games Tillamook has played, obviously all year, but in a good long time. Now, Tillamook's gotten handled the first 3 times they played Banks, although the first game in Tillamook outplayed Banks for 3 quarters. Unfortunately, the fourth quarter, they got outscored 22-6. In those 3 games, Rene has scored 32, 24, and 24. And so he obviously is the key. Rene's the 6'8" guard, Dalton Rene. He's only a junior, and he's been the guy who has been the best player for Banks, runner-up on the Player of the Year to Janik from Seaside. The other guy that's hurt the Cheesemakers has been Goebel. Blake Goebel is only a sophomore. He's 6'7". He's gone for 17, 11, and 11 in the 3 games. Let's look at the starting lineup, first of all, for the Banks Braves. Those 2 players we already mentioned. Dalton Rene, 6'6" guard, tough matchup, and Blake Goebel at 6'7" and a sophomore, their post player, good low post player. And then the other 3 starters are Kylan Taylor at 5'9" and a senior, Jake Evans, 6'4" and a senior, and Ian Hutchins, who's really their defensive specialist and has caused Jacob Berge a lot of problems. He is 6'1" and a senior. On the other side of the ball for the Cheesemakers, at the guards, it's going to be Ramon Flores, 5'8", and a junior. Flores coming off a great ball game in LeGrand. He's playing well lately. They're going to need it out of him tonight. Defensively, it's maybe just as important for Ramon Flores, as he's going to be matched up when they go man-to-man against Dalton Rene and have to try to stop him. Other starters going to be Seth Rummage, a senior for the Cheesemakers, and Jackson Johnson, a 6'4" senior. And then on the outside, the two key guards, Jacob Berge, a senior at 6'2". Berge, in the 3 games they've played, has had 13, 14, and 10. And then finally, Ian Collette coming off that 36-point game and really carried the Cheesemakers to a victory in LeGrand and into this final 8 here. As the Cheesemaker fans, they fill the gym on the far side, as you would fully expect. They come out in force. And then up behind us, the Banks Braves, who are all of about 10 miles away from home, have a pretty good crowd on hand as well. Ian Collette, in the 3 games that they've played, has scored 12, 15, and 17 in those first 3 games. When you look at them, its turnovers been a big difference. Cheesemakers turned the ball over 12, 14, and 23 times, and Banks has turned it over 8, 13, and 22. You cannot turn the ball over 23 times tonight and expect to win. Cheesemakers have shot free throws, but not very well. They had 25 in the last game, but they only put 7 shots up, free throws up in the second game, and only made 1 of those. So the Cheesemakers, who have been introduced on the floor, and Banks getting ready to be introduced on the floor. The Cheesemakers, if there's one team in this tournament that they've played with and they can compete with, they know they can play with Banks. Now, they haven't found out a way to beat them, but I would say that Tillamook wouldn't have found a way to beat LeGrand too many times either, and they did in the one time when they really needed to. And so the Cheesemakers are 1 game away from a state semifinal appearance if they can pull off the upset here. The Cheesemakers in this tournament were actually the number 16 seed, but they don't allow you to match up against the league team in the first round. That would have been the first round playoff game where Tillamook ended up with LeGrand. So Tillamook was the lowest seeded team in the tournament, but they bumped them up a spot to number 15 because Seaside was number 1 and 16 plays 1. So with that change, it moved them to the second lowest seed in the tournament, and yet they're still here. One thing of note that we hopefully will not dwell on tonight is 3-person officiating crew, one of them being Tina out of the North Coast Association. Don't know exactly how that happens with 2 Co-op League teams, but I guess neither one of them are Seaside, so here we go. This has been warm-up time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Randy Shield along with Bruce Rhodes, your broadcast crew, as they get ready to move in and toss it up. Bruce, should be fun.
Oh, yeah, nothing like a state playoff game.
Into the middle they go. Ball tossed up, controlled by, tipped out of bounds off Tillamook. It'll be Banks' ball. So Johnson won the tip, but tipped it all the way out of bounds as it went over the hands of Ramon Flores. Cheesemakers will come out, and they'll go zone to open up. Right wing with the ball, Hutchins. Hutchins going to hand to Rene on top. Rene gives it up to the left side. Off to Taylor. Taylor goes inside to Goebel. He missed the shot. Nice rebound by Johnson. The Cheesemakers control. Push right ahead to Flores. Down the floor. Flips it up and in. Oh, what a shot by Ramon Flores to open up the state tournament. High in the air and dropped it with a teardrop over Rene. Inside Goebel. Baseline rejected by Johnson. Cheesemakers get it out. They're going to run. Oh, hacked it midcourt. No call. Saved back in. It goes to Banks. Keena didn't get back in time on that one, and the Cheesemakers gave it up on the turnover. Rene.
Like Tillamook wants to push the ball.
Kick back. Evans, 3 on the way. Banks it in. That was Taylor. Sorry. Tylen Taylor hits the 3 as he gives Banks the 3-2 lead. Cheesemakers. Left side, Flores. Flores off to Collette. Collette around the high screen. Dumps it down low, down the lane. To the hole, and scores by the Cheesemakers. Rummage as he hung it off. I was screened off, but I could see it bouncing around the rim, and the Cheesemakers have regained the lead at 4-3.
He avoided the block by Rene very nicely.
Rene inside. Nope, kicks it out. Back to Goebel, left wing. Three-pointer by Taylor. Air ball this time. Last one would have been an air ball, too, but it hit the backboard and banked in. Collette keeps his man down the lane. Scoop to the left hand and scores. Took it in against Goebel. Beautiful play by Ian Collette, 6'3", and you're right, Bruce. Tillamook going to force the action right away.
And we've gotten 3 shots at point blank.
Rene on top, lost it behind his back. Cheesemakers with a steal. Ahead to Collette. Collette one-on-one down the lane. Scoop, scores, and he is fouled. Ian Collette took it in against Jake Evans off the glass. Scores, and the Cheesemaker fans are on their feet early on the far side.
Wow, talk about aggressive, like being shot out of a cannon we are.
My goodness, great job on the other end, coming out and double-teaming Rene, and Rene coughed it up. Johnson had it, flipped it down the floor, and then Collette under heavy pressure, double clutch. He, though, missed the free throw. 8-3, Cheesemakers by 5. Another good start. Rene, quick run the other way. Free throw extended, stop there. Off to Evans, 15-footer on the way. It's an air ball. Saved back in to the Cheesemakers. And then stolen from behind by Goebel. Loose on the floor. Check, and a steal again. Cheesemakers look down the floor and fouled by Hutchins. Love to see Hutchins get in foul trouble. He plays a real physical game, and he is matched up against Jacob Berge, and that causes Berge all kinds of problems. And so the Cheesemakers draw the first foul. Second team foul on Banks. Cheesemakers with the ball. They're in their all-black uniforms. They're moving right to left across your radio dial. Berge with his first touch of the ball game. Out on top to Johnson. Johnson goes baseline, tipped away, but it goes to Collette, left wing three. It's an air ball. He was almost out of bounds. Flipped it up. Ball tipped away. Collette. Steal. Ahead. Cheesemakers. Flores. Backside. Lays it up and in. Collette caused the steal and then got the assist. And Banks wants timeout on the floor. It's 10-3. Cheesemakers. Just like we saw in Ontario. Just like we saw in LaGrange. The Cheesemakers have come out and been fearless early.
Well, and, you know, you kind of wonder how kids are going to react to certain situations. I'm kind of done wondering about that after these last couple of games.
Yeah.
That we don't come out timid. We don't come out tense. We just come out attacking and pushing the ball. And, boy, everything's a layup right now.
I wondered if it was going to change coming to a different venue and knowing you're one of the top 8 in the state. And at least in the first 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the Cheesemakers have been the aggressor.
Oh, and on both ends of the court, too. Attacking the basket and getting turnovers.
Banks has the ball. They'll move left to right across your radio dial. They're in their all-white uniforms with the navy blue numbers and Banks across their chest. Rene gets it, goes sideline left, and he gets fouled. Oh, no, he carried the ball.
Oh, wow.
I thought he got a knee from Rummage. Rummage was raising his hand to say, I got him. But apparently he carried it first, and the Cheesemakers get it back on the turnover. Banks had a bunch of turnovers in the last game. Kicking off, Berge. Ice for three, can't take it. Back out on top to Jackson. Jackson off to Flores. Kicks it back out on top. Cheesemakers, Collette. Crossover dribble, elbow. Flores going to try to drive baseline. Takes it inside to Jackson. Lays it up. He missed it. Got his own rebound. Put it up. It's blocked. Rene comes down with it. What happens when you have 6'7" and 6'8" on the inside? You can't hesitate at all. Got to go up strong. And down the lane, whistle foul is going to be on Rummage, and that's going to send Rene to the line to shoot two. And the Cheesemakers cannot let him penetrate at the top of the key. Absolutely cannot.
Well, and one of the things we saw in that last game with Banks is they get the ball into Rene's hands. If he's not as active, and they put the ball in his hands.
He was quiet for 3 quarters in the last game in Banks, and then all of a sudden took over late in the game, and I mean took over. Went from 3 points to 20 points just that quick, and a lot of it was at the free throw line, which is where he goes right now. His first point of the ball game. He's very streaky. He can get his head down. In fact, you can get into his head, but he is extremely athletic and talented.
And just a crazy mismatch.
It is. It's 6'6", and a guard that handles the ball as well as any of Tillamook's guards. Free throws, both of them are good. 10-5. Cheesemakers' lead is 5. Their largest has been 7. Tillamook will bring it down. Flores screen right. No, he's going to go to the baseline right. Tough shot, takes it in, no good. Rene on the backside. Cheesemakers pushed it or forced it a little bit there. It's Streblow, good defense. Goebel down the lane. He's fouled by Johnson. Tillamook did not get back defensively. And to the line will go Goebel as the second foul against the Cheesemakers, and both of them have been shooters. And so Goebel, also another very good free throw shooter, as Hurleman and Taylor get ready to check in on the far side. Goebel's free throw is good. And right away, Banks gets right back into it at the free throw line, which they shot in the last game 16 in the last game, 22 in the first two games, 22 each. Second free throw's no good, but the offensive rebound comes down to Ward. Ward on the rebound, out on top, kicks right. Ward for three, gets it. Tough trip for the Cheesemakers there, and it's a 1-point game. Halfway through the first period of play. Collette, right wing, tries to beat his man down the lane, hands back to Hurleman. Hurleman gets it checked. Wagner inside, scores, and he is fouled. He threw it up with a left hand. It rattled all the way around the rim, hit the glass again, and then fell in long after the whistle had blown. But the Cheesemakers get a much-needed 2 there to answer a 6-0 run by Banks.
And we see Chase Wagner active on the inside a lot.
Free throw's no good. Tipped out. Wagner gets the rebound again. Again, he takes it up. It's no good. Again, Wagner keeps it alive. Down the lane he goes, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Going to be on Goebel this time as Wagner. He missed the free throw but kept it alive. And to the line will go Ian Collette.
Foul on Goebel.
I believe it was on Goebel. They don't put it on the board here. I'm not sure why not. Collette free throw, good. 13-9, Cheesemakers by 4. U.S. Bank is a proud partner of the OSAA. Stop by your local U.S. Bank location today. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Second free throw's no good. Tipped up, controlled finally by Banks. Tillamook only gets 1 on the 3 free throws. They had a chance at that trip down. 13-9. Right wing with the ball, Banks kicking out on top. Oh, traveled with the ball, back out, waits, hands inside. Evans kicks off right side to Magoo, right wing, Evans for 3. It's no good. Long rebound, saved back in. Rene tried to throw it back in, and he did off Tillamook. Not sure how he walked the tightrope down there, but those big feet must have still been in bounds as he jumped out of bounds and threw it off Hurleman's leg. Inbound, Magoo. That's Ward. Ward gives it up, gets it back. That shot 3. It's no good, but Evans backside rebound. He missed it as well. Hurleman ran right over Ward, did not get the call. Cheesemakers back with the ball. Berge on top. Goes high post to Wagner. Wagner looks left, now goes left to Collette. Collette, baseline. Wagner, pump fake. Going to stop. Now he's going to drive. Needs some help. Cutter inside is Taylor. Back out. Berge, long 3. First shot. Good! Oh, boy, Tillamook needs Berge if they're going to win this ball game. 16-9. Cheesemakers back up by 7.
Jacob did a nice job of going inside, not seeing anything, and popping outside and hitting it.
Evans, top of the key, skips left side. Rene, got to get a hand on him. It's a long 3. He only got glass. Cheesemakers rebound. They want to run. Collette, left side, going to get cut off. Stops on the top of the key. Hands off to Taylor. Taylor looks to make a move inside against Streblow, but backs it on out. Cheesemakers Greg Werner calls the play from the sideline. Going to run a double screen. Looks right side, goes back to Collette on top. Working against Ward. Collette, pump fake, had him off balance, but didn't take him in. Off to Taylor, dumps it down low to Hurleman, reverses it up and in. Evans lost him on the baseline, and Hurleman got an easy look, and it's a 9-point lead.
Taylor, great little snap pass right down to Tyler.
Magoo with the ball on top. Collette on him, reverses, goes out in the corner. Oh, whistle, foul, and a push.
Yeah, you had to.
As going down was Ward. He really got his legs crossed, and Ian bumped him. And so the foul goes against Ian Collette. That's the 13th foul against Tillamook. There's 4 against Banks. 1:39 left to play in the first period. Ton of action here early. Rene, far side, almost stepped out of bounds. Now dumps it low. Tip Oh, from the backside, it's going to be Hurleman. Hurleman tipped it away from behind. Cheesemakers would have the steal, but the foul's going to be on Hurleman. Jackson Johnson gets ready to come back in. 1:34 left to play in the quarter. State championship basketball action. OSAA state championship basketball. Banks to bring it in. Into the corner. Open from 15. Hit. Nice shot out of the corner by Streblow. And that stops an 8-0 run by the Cheesemakers.
And that was a 2, I believe.
It was a 2. On top, Taylor. Tipped away, picked off. Rene on the run the other way. Got to get back to the hole. Lays it up. He missed it. Thought he got fouled. Nobody called. Cheesemakers with the ball. Going to go the other way. Johnson kicks it back out to the Cheesemakers. Collette from 18. It's no good. Rebound inside. Loose comes down to Banks, and they're going to call timeout. Oh, the Cheesemakers had Johnson on the left wing. Thought he was going to go in tough, but he kicked it all the way out to Collette. Collette couldn't knock it down. There's going to be a 30-second timeout as Banks calls it since he had a player with a ball on his knees and Cheesemakers around him. Cheesemakers lead is 7 at 18-11. Bruce, what about the stats so far?
Banks having a tough time shooting, only getting 25%. They've actually made more threes than they have twos. And the free throws, we just end up giving them quite a few free throws. We're shooting 57%. All those layups early on certainly help. And only 2 turnovers for Tillamook, 4 for Banks.
1:03 left to play in the quarter. 18-11. Cheesemakers by 7.
Been a high-energy first period.
Real high energy. Just doing what you want out of the state quarterfinal game.
Yep.
Cameron into the ball game with the ball. Hands off to Streblow. Cheesemakers match up. Go to Evans. Into the corner. Wait. Hands off. Just into the game is Garassi. Garassi. Streblow. 15. It's no good. Rebound tipped out from behind. It'll be Cheesemakers' ball. Garassi couldn't find anything on the inside, and the Cheesemakers get the ball back. And they will bring it down right to left with 41 seconds left. What we've seen Tillamook do most of the year with this is look for the final shot. Collette goes across midcourt and holds there. Banks not going to extend right now. With 25 seconds left, Collette passes Flores, gets it back. Now he picks up his dribble. Right side to Flores, back to Collette again. With 15 seconds left. See if the Cheesemakers can get a good shot here as the final seconds run off. Now they move into their offense. Collette, left side, makes a spin move, goes inside, dishes it down low to Flores, but he missed it. Good look, didn't stay, and then stepped out of bounds with 0.5 seconds remaining. Ramon Flores had a great look, but couldn't get it to go. And with a half a second left, that should pretty much do it here in the first quarter. Inbound play, they should not count that if it goes. I think they might have. But the quarter is over. Tillamook leads 18-11 after 1. We'll be back after this 1-minute break. Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. Well, in 4 games, Tillamook, this is the first time they've led at the end of the first period against Banks. Banks has had the lead at the end of 1 in the first 3. Cheesemakers with the ball to open up the second period of play. Wagner on top, hands to Flores. Flores around the high screen, hands off to Collette. Collette goes by his man down the lane, scoops and scores. He double clutched in the air, and then laid it off the glass like we've seen him do all year long. Cheesemakers back up by 9, 20-11. Hutchins, right wing, trying to post up Goebel on the inside. They kick off. Looks right, goes back to Hutchins. 4-3. In and out, no good. Goebel got the rebound, laid it back up. He missed it. Rebound comes down. Oh, Evans tied him up, didn't get the call, but he missed the shot. Cheesemakers back down with the ball. They're going to run. Right side, Collette. Going to make the move. Crossover, stop and pop. Good! Ian Collette lighten up the defender, Trevor Garassi, and the Cheesemakers have Banks doubled up at 22-11. Largest lead of the ball game for the Cheesemakers.
And Ian Collette hitting outside shots makes him tough.
Goebel, baseline, whistle.
Oh, no.
I don't know who she's going to call that on.
That was just a good double team.
That's a great double team, but the foul's going to be called against Wagner, apparently. That'll be the 15th foul against the Cheesemakers. And Banks will bring it in underneath their own bucket. Banks shooting 25% from the two-point area. Cheesemakers shooting 50. Oh, no, there wasn't a shot. Are you kidding me? He turned to pass it to the baseline left, and they're going to give him shots. Goebel goes to the line. That was a brutal call. Free throw's good. Wow. 22-12. Goebel, second free throw. Good.
He's got a good shot, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Guy.
6'7", sophomore.
Yeah.
22-13. Cheesemakers lead by 9. High post, Wagner. Wagner kicking off pass to Flores on the right wing. Drives in, now backs out. Now he's going to drive all the way to the baseline. Kicks off to Berge. Berge around his man all the way inside to Flores. One too many passes, but somehow Tillamook came out with it. Dishes back door. Wagner lays it up and in. Great assist by Ramon Flores. Cheesemakers running circles around Banks right now on the inside.
And Chase not afraid to take it in.
Going to try to post up Goebel again. He gets it baseline right. Kicking out. Garassi, 4-3. He hit. That's the guy you'd like to have shooting those threes, but he knocked it down. 24-16. Inside Johnson kicking off for the answer three. Collette, yeah! An answer of a three going back the other way. Back up by 11.
When Ian's hitting from the outside, I'm telling you,
Collette,
crazy.
12 in the ball game for Ian Collette. Garassi looks for a cutter far side as Rene gets ready to check back into the ball game. Evans goes into the corner. Garassi goes baseline to Goebel. Goebel double team, forces his way through. Great defense there, but it goes to Evans. Evans shot on the way high off the glass for 2. Good work with the left hand by Evans. 27-18. Cheesemakers lead is cut to 9. Wagner, back door. Inside pass goes to the high post. Johnson back to Flores, and the Cheesemakers set it up. Ramon on top. Collette down the lane. Oh, he's hacked, no call. Flips it up, doesn't get it to go. Rebound, whistle, foul on a late call. It's going to be against the Cheesemakers. Not sure who. 10. It's going to be Chase Wagner on the foul. That'll be the 6th one. There's 5:15 left to play in the first half. Wagner gets his second personal foul. And that could hurt the Cheesemakers there because he is the Energizer Bunny so far tonight. On top, all the way down the lane. Rim checks himself, lost it out of bounds. Cheesemakers will get it back. Taylor thought he was fouled. I think he just lost contact with where he was.
Got rim checked.
He did. He made a great swoop-de-doop move, and he threw it right off the bottom of the rim. Cheesemakers, Collette brings it across the timeline. 27-18, Cheesemakers. Out on top, Collette left side to Johnson. Johnson has Goebel clear out on the outside. Wagner back to Johnson, playing some catch out there. As long as Johnson stays outside and Wagner stays outside in this man-to-man defense, it takes the big defenders with him. Johnson's going to shoot from 15. In and out, rimmed it, didn't get it to go. Quickly down the floor, got a man open on the other end. To the hole, off the glass for 2. Kylan Taylor. And the lead is cut to 7. 27-20, 4:23 left to play in the half. Cheesemakers, Flores. Tillamook playing good basketball. Off to Berge. Berge has one shot on the ball game. Whistle foul. What was that?
What?
It's going to be Chase Wagner away from the ball. Oh, that's a tough call for the Cheesemakers. 4:12 left to play, first half. Wagner gets his third foul.
Wow.
Greg talking to the official on the far side. Probably not going to change the call, though.
No, maybe the next one.
Oh, on top, Rene all stumbled. Left wing, three on the way. Good. Kylan Taylor hits the three, and all of a sudden a 7-0 run by Banks. Cheesemakers need an answer. Collette, right wing, 27-23. Tillamook, Rummage, cutter inside. Berge just getting belly bumped all over the place by Hutchins. I just hate that. But I'm not calling the game, so I guess I can't do anything about it. Inside Berge. Whistle. Going to be a foul. Is it on Hutchins? It is.
No.
Oh, no, it's not. It's on the arm. It's going to be Brett Cameron. And to the line will go Jacob Berge to shoot two. Hutchins runs around with Berge, just bumping him with his chest the whole way, keeping his hands in the air, and they're letting him do it. Berge's free throw is good.
We needed that.
Yes, we did. Cuts off a 7-0 run. 28-23, Cheesemakers. Abbott comes into the ball game. Flores gets a little rest.
We're going to need production from some of these bench players.
Only 1 out of 2 for the Cheesemakers. They have not shot free throws well yet tonight.
Nope.
Rene brings the ball down, gives it up left wing. Into the corner it goes. Taylor has hurt the Cheesemakers some tonight from the outside. Hutchins, free throw extended. Right side out on top. Going to stop down the lane. Jumped it up from 8 and off the glass. He didn't call a bank shot, but Cameron knocked it down. And it's a 3-point game, 28-25. Johnson, top of the key. Hands off to Collette. Collette has it picked off. Steele going the other way. Down the floor, all the way to the hole. Rejected by Johnson, but then fouled. And it will be Rummage on the foul. We're sitting right in front of the Banks rooting section, so it sounds like there's a whole lot of Banks people here. There's less Banks people than there are Tillamook, but this place is full at Pacific University. And Kylan Taylor's going to go to the line. 2:49 left to play in the first half. 28-25 Cheesemakers. The 15 seed right now with the lead, but Taylor can cut it, and they miss the free throw. Berge going to sit down for a little rest. 2:49 left in the half. Taylor comes back in. That's Anthony Taylor. Kylan Taylor for the Braves gets the second free throw. Taylor, free throw. It's good. He gets 1 out of 2. 28-26. Cheesemakers on the bottom end of a 10-2 run right now. But they still have the lead. Jackson on top. Got to keep moving. Off to Rummage. Rummage tipped away, got it back to Jackson. Johnson going to go down the lane. Got it tipped away again. Got it back. Off to Abbott. Abbott on top to Taylor. Anthony with the ball. Collette goes and gets it and settles it down and sets it up again. Taylor near side to Johnson. Clear out on the left wing. Cutter down the lane. Needs some help. Goes to Rummage. Rummage, Taylor, right wing. Baseline. Can't move it inside, so kicks it off to Abbott against this man-to-man defense. Ball thrown away. Oh, Taylor carried the ball. Peta couldn't see it. The other official did. Going to be turnover as the Cheesemakers turn it over. And then Banks, as Taylor Steele got it caught up on his hip, took a couple extra steps, and the Cheesemakers get it back. 2:09 left to play in the half.
Tillamook having a hard time generating a clean shot right now.
Yep. They quit going to the rim, too.
Yep.
Taylor out on top. Oh, Johnson, that's a foul, and it is. He stuck a knee out and tripped Hutchins on the way by. And you can see it from this angle. Greg's going to complain from the other side. That was the right call. 28-26. And Banks has the ball. They can tie or take the lead this trip down. as they'll take a little time to bring a towel out and wipe a little bit of Hutchins off the floor. Hutchins came around that high screen, and Johnson had a knee out there, and Hutchins got clipped by it, and down he went. Now, I will tell you that Hutchins will take a flop anytime he's touched as well, but I think that one was correct. They get the floor cleaned up, and Banks has the ball with 2:02 left to play in the half, 28-26. Cheesemakers by 2.
And Banks has done this without anything from Rennie to speak of. 2 points is all.
Kylan Taylor's been the guy that took the Cheesemakers. Left wing 3 is good, and they have the lead. Shot by Trent Ward. First lead they've had since it was 3-2. Ball slipped. Evans on the break to the lane, lays it up and in. As the Cheesemakers slipped on top and fell down. They had just wiped up stuff, and Cheesemakers called timeout. They're down 31-28 as Rummage, right on the exact spot they had just wiped the floor, went down in a heap. The ball popped loose. They went to the other end, laid it up and in, and it's a 3-point lead. The Cheesemakers were up 27-16. They're down 31-28. That is a 15-1 run.
Wow, that's what we haven't done lately.
No.
Just giving up those big runs, and for the next minute and a half here, we need to turn this around.
Cheesemakers down by 3, 31-28, a minute 40 left to play. And what you hope is they don't get down and lose the confidence.
Yeah.
They've been playing for 2 games in a row with a high level of confidence. And Banks right now is doing it with role players, guys who do not normally do it. They don't normally beat you with them, and they're hitting shots, and you can't stop them all. Somebody's going to get some shots.
Yeah. Well, and you got to think too that Evans and Taylor aren't going to hit these shots all game long.
Well, you certainly hope not if you're a Cheesemaker fan. Tillamook find themselves down 31-28.
You can't sub in at the end of that. Got to wait for the next dead ball, I guess.
Yeah.
Having trouble with subs.
So they stopped him. Blow over on the far side. Cheesemakers will bring it down. Down by 3.
Come in too.
Abbott near side around the high screen.
There it is
Still
again.
slipping on that spot. Hands off to Johnson. Johnson out in the corner. Collette stops, shoots from 18. Missed it. Rebound Rene on the backside. Goebel breaking early, but they didn't get him the ball. Rene brings it down. Right wing. Taylor. Pump fake. Now he drives. Flips it up from 15. No good. Taylor with a backside rebound. Lead pass ahead. Cheesemakers to Johnson. Johnson to the hole. He missed it. Had a breakaway lay-in. Didn't get it to go. Banks down with a rebound. Nothing going for the Mooks right now. Evans, long 3. Off the glass. No good. Collette down the floor, or down the lane with the rebound. Cheesemakers need a bucket. Collette for 3. No good again. Straight away. Couldn't get it to go. Lead pass going to run. Evans down the lane. Shot on the way. No good. Rebound tipped out. Cheesemakers. Now they want to run with 42 seconds remaining. And the Cheesemakers want to take the final shot. Smart. Greg holds him up, and that's what you talk about, having that quarterback on the floor, as Ian Collette immediately got it across the line and then stopped it there. Cheesemakers hold it by midcourt with 25 seconds left. They have not been very good at scoring at the buzzer this year with 18 seconds left. Collette near side to Taylor. Taylor back to Collette with 12. Time to set the offense and go. Collette goes right side. Cut off, step through, whistle. Going to be a foul before. That'll be the 16th foul, not a shooter, with 6 seconds left. Tillamook has 9 fouls on them. Banks has 6. And Berge comes back in after a long wait at the scorer's table as Goebel sits down. Berge will bring it inbounds. They'll set up the inbound play. Out on top, Abbott. Pump fake inside. Elbow right jumper. No good. Follow. Tipped out of bounds. It'll be Cheesemakers again with 1.9 seconds left.
Wow.
Cheesemakers again will run the inbound play. Taylor, right wing 3. It's no good. Abbott, backside rebound, but the horn is sounded. and the Cheesemakers trail at the half, 31-28 here in state championship basketball action. Les Schwab Tires is proud to support our OSAA. For more than 60 years, Les Schwab Tires has taken pride in performance, providing superior value and building customers for life. With more than 450 stores across the West, you're never far from the local Les Schwab Tire store. Les Schwab doing the right thing that matters. Cheesemakers trail 31-28 at the half. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll be back after this. to 10.
Yep. Well, you hope that's our one bad quarter.
Yep. Hope so. Thank you. Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball action. This is OSAA State Championship 4A basketball action, sponsored by U.S. Bank and Les Schwab Tire Center. Randy Steele along with Bruce Rhodes, your broadcast crew over FM 95.9 KTIL in Tillamook. Want the latest information on your favorite high school teams? Log on to OSAA.org. The OSAA is scheduled, scores, and official rankings for all member schools and all team sports. At OSAA.org, you'll also find playoff brackets, broadcast schedules, and historical records. For more information, visit OSAA.org. Tillamook Cheesemakers trail 31-28 at the half. The Cheesemakers had Banks up 3-2, and Tillamook held the lead all the way until it was 29-28 as Cheesemakers led by as many as 11 in that first half. The Cheesemakers were up 18-11 at the end of the first period. They built their lead to 11 at 22-11. Had Banks doubled up at one point. They were up 27-16, and Banks finished the half on a 15-1 run as the Cheesemakers get outscored 20-10 in that second period of play, and they trail 31-28 at recess. We're going to take a look at the stats. We'll have that and more here at halftime after this 1-minute break for our sponsors. Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. This OSAA State High School Championship basketball action sponsored by the Les Schwab Tires and U.S. Bank. The Cheesemakers trail 31-28 at halftime. If you're wondering how this compares, Tillamook at half had a 6-point lead in Tillamook in the opening game of the year between these two teams. But then remember, they gave up a 22-6 run in the fourth quarter to end up losing that game by 8. In the other two games in Banks, Tillamook trailed by 9 and 10 in those two outings. Cheesemakers within 3 right now. Don't like the way the second period went, but certainly still in this ball game, down only 3 at the half, trailing 31-28. Bruce, what about the first half stats?
Well, Tillamook just came out firing and pushing the ball that first period, and you almost kind of wonder, you're all juiced up for that opening tip and state playoff game, and it was almost like the crash happened that second period. So maybe here, kind of collect ourselves at half and kind of even things out. Tillamook right now shooting 12 out of 27 overall, which is 44%, 2 out of 5 from three-point range, and only 2 out of 6 from the free throw line, which is uncharacteristic of us. Leading scorer for Tillamook, Ian Collette with 12, and then Flores, Berge, and Wagner with 4 each. And, Wagner, big picked up his third foul there, made a big difference there. So hopefully he'll be able to play the second half. Banks not shooting the ball very well overall, 36%, but three-point range, they've hurt it. And that's kind of what got them back in, was Taylor and Ward each hitting 2 3-pointers in that second period. They didn't hurt us inside, they hurt us outside, and that kind of got the rhythm going and the momentum back on theirs. So Taylor, their leading scorer, with 9, and Ward with 6. Rene, only 3, but we've seen him kind of be quiet, and all of a sudden take off as well. Turnovers, which has been, you remember that last game, 23 and 22.
Right.
So turnovers, not a lot. Banks with 5, Tillamook with 7. So that's certainly a manageable amount. I'm hoping that we kind of even ourselves out here and get playing better. That second quarter lull is behind us.
Cheesemakers trail 31-28. Les Schwab Tire Center is committed to providing world-class service to all our customers. We're here for the life of your tires and brakes, not just today's transaction. Les Schwab Tire is proud sponsor of the OSAA. Cheesemakers trail 31-28. At the half, we'll be back with the start of the second half after this word from our sponsors. Going back to Cheesemaker basketball, it's halftime. The Cheesemakers trail 31-28. We told you there's already 2 Coapa League teams in the semifinals, as Seaside will take on North Bend tomorrow at 3:15, and Valley Catholic will take on the winner of this game at 8:15 tomorrow night. Both those games at Forest Grove High School, as Valley Catholic looked to be the real deal when they played right before us, as they manhandled a really good basketball team. The loser of this game will take on Henley tomorrow morning at 10:45, and that's gut check time there, as the Cheesemakers have been in the Breakfast League before, and there's no easy way in it or out of it.
Yeah. Well, and both teams, are going to have played super hard tonight. So besides playing in the morning, you're coming off just an intense evening, late-night game the night before.
And I would say the Cheesemakers have been horrible in the second game of back-to-back games this year. Not won a game on the second night of back-to-back games. And they will take on either Henley or Valley Catholic tomorrow. If they win, it'll be Valley Catholic. If they lose, it will be Henley. In either case, 3 Coapa League teams in the Final Four on the championship side. We knew all year long the Coapa League was tough, and I would say any of the 3 could win it. If Banks shoots the way they have in the second quarter with guys that are not named Rene, they can beat anybody on any night. And so we'll see if that continues. Then the Cheesemakers are going to have to find some offense of their own here in the second half, as they became pretty quiet at the end of that second period of play and now trail 31-28.
Yeah, and Seaside, we know how good Seaside is.
Yeah.
And they just survived
Barely.
that first game today. But that happens sometimes in that opening game of a tournament, too.
Great crowd on hand. It's just like a Coapa League district tournament here, housed right in the middle of the Coapa League at Pacific University and then Forest Grove High School tomorrow. Both teams will send their starters back out onto the floor. Randy Shield along with Bruce Rhodes, your broadcast crew over FM 95.9. Always a treat to be broadcasting at the state tournament. Banks, right to left, they move here in the second half. Hutchins on top, trying to look inside to Goebel. They kick it out to Evans. Evans 3 on the way. High off the glass, but Goebel with the rebound on the backside, and he's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Goebel, as good as any sophomore I've seen at just working to get to the backside boards whenever a ball goes in the air. And that ball was so far off to the right, it didn't even hit rim, and it just happened to bounce right down to Goebel, and so the Cheesemakers had him screened off, but that didn't matter. And he hits the free throw.
Yeah, air balls are hard to rebound.
Yes, they are. That's not what you expect. And rim balls are, or just backboards are hard to rebound as well, and Goebel gets them both. 33-28. It's the largest lead of the ball game. As out of the ball game will go Rummage with his third personal foul. Into the ball game comes Wagner with his third personal foul. The guy on the bench better get ready is Hurleman. Backdoor pass. Flores, hands inside. Kicks it back out. Down the lane. Collette has it checked. Rebound. Tipped out. Comes to Banks. Banks on the run. Now they'll stop. Gets back on top to Evans. Goebel open underneath. Had it checked. Got it back again. Laid it up and in. Missed the shot, but got the offensive rebound. And all of a sudden it is that 15-1 run becomes a 19-1 run, and Tillamook wants timeout. 35-28. Cheesemakers take a 30-second timeout. And we have one more of these little doohickeys to get out there. Get your state championship merchandise from www.osaastore.com. Get commemorative shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and much more. If you need a shirt from the past, they can get one of those as well. That's www.osaastore.com. And the Cheesemakers would love to go to the store and buy some points right now because it's been a long dry spell, as they have only a free throw since a three-pointer was hit with about 4.5 minutes left in that second period. 35-28, Cheesemakers will have the ball.
Yeah, we need to hit a couple of shots here, get ourselves going again.
Got to get some energy back in the black uniforms. Flores on top to Wagner. Wagner going to try to drive. No, he stopped there. Hand back to Flores again. Man-to-man defense as Hutchins just hugging Berge on the near side. Round on top. Flores waits. Hands off. Berge gets the touch. Working against Hutchins. Back out on top, Wagner. Goes by his man down the lane. Stops. Puts it up with the left hand and in. Awkward shot, but somehow it went down. And really the difference in the last 5 minutes of this game is that Chase Wagner was not in the game.
Yep.
Rene on the near side, a 5-point Banks lead. On top, Evans. Taylor goes inside to Goebel. Goebel spins with the right hand, flips it over the rim and down. So they go inside back-to-back to Goebel, and he's got 6 points in the half. Flores on top. Wagner throws it away.
We're looking a little tired right now.
Yeah, we are. A little bit flat. Out goes Jackson Johnson, 37-30. What we saw in the two games, LeGrand and Ontario, was all of a sudden the Cheesemakers could get things turned around. They're going to have to do it tonight if they don't want to play in the morning. Hutchins inside to Goebel again. Goebel banks it up and in. Goebel, 8 points in the quarter. And the Cheesemakers going to call timeout. 5:57 left to play in the third. 39-30, largest lead of the ball game for Banks is 9. We'll be back in 1 minute. Wow. Said you had to stop Rennie and you could win this.
Who would have thought?
If we stop Rennie, we win the last 2 games.
I know it.
Last 3 games.
Yep.
Only because the rest of them didn't step up like that.
Yep. Well, and it's Goebel on follow-up, too. I mean,
he just pushing everything under the bucket.
Yep.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. Tillamook trails 39-30 as Banks has scored just about every trip down the floor this half. Cheesemakers Collette left wing with the ball. Around on top, Berge. Quick 3. Long. Oh, it was dead on, but a hair long. Rebound Hutchins. Hutchins down the floor, trying to get it to Goebel, but they kick it to the right side to Taylor. Taylor, oh, he traveled inside to Goebel, but Hurleman with the steal. Nice job by Tyler. Down the floor, Cheesemaker back up on top. Berge, whistle, foul. Going to hold. And the foul is going to be on Taylor. That's funny that they call that on Taylor, and Hutchins been doing that the entire ball game on Berge. Berge, baseline right. Looks, goes inside to Wagner. Wagner steps through, kicks back. Flores going to drive. Stop, dishes low to Wagner. Great feed, and he lays it up and in.
Beautiful pick and roll.
Beautiful play there. 7-point game, 39-32. Cheesemaker fans, student section tried to make noise on the far side. Goebel, fade from 8. That's no good. Hurleman can't get the rebound, but Wagner does. Wagner, sideline right, down the floor, stops from 6. He missed it. Rebound, Collette on the back side, and he's fouled. They'll get it out underneath, and they should be shooting that. He was catching that ball to shoot in the air, but they say it's underneath.
That was Goebel on the foul.
And it will be, and that'll be his third. Goebel's going to have to come out of the ball game, and he's not happy about it. He's hurt the Cheesemakers here in the quarter. Cheesemakers bring it in underneath their own bucket. They look. They finally get it into Ramon for 3. In and out, no good. Rebound should be Cheesemakers. It is.
Wagner battling in there.
Yep. Boy, he is always battling.
Always.
Very physical, always battling. Waiting again, trying to come in. Flips it in to Hurleman. Hurleman steps through. Oh, he's fouled. No call. Follow. This time he's fouled. He was fouled at the rim the first time.
Well, they whacked his arm.
And then he collected it again and flipped it up, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. As the Cheesemakers may have the advantage on the board with Goebel out. With 4:42 left to play in the third, still a ton of time in the third. It's been all Banks for about a quarter now. Cheesemakers trailed by 7. Free throw Hurleman is good.
Nice. He's just gotten better and better as he's gotten off the DL, you know.
And I tell you, he does some freakishly amazing things athletically.
Yeah.
He gets both free throws, both line drives, but they count nonetheless. 5-point game. Cheesemakers down. 4:39 left in the third. Rene on the near side. Going to try to drive inside. Crossover, stop. Scores, and he's fouled. Cheesemakers switch to a man-to-man, and that's the part of the man-to-man they can't handle, and that is Flores on Rene. And this is what they did to the Cheesemakers in the fourth quarter in Bank, is they just took Rene inside, and Flores has given up almost a foot. And Rene can score at any time, and he does there with a 3-point play. 42-34, big shot there by Rene. Only his second bucket of the ball game. Flores off to Wagner. Wagner goes inside, tip, but it comes back out to Flores in the corner. Wagner sets up, goes backdoor this time. Down the lane, Collette with a left hand takes it up and in. Nice shot by Ian Collette. Back to within 6. Hanging around. Let's see how we're going to stop Rene this trip. Pass inside. Oh, he got it down low. Shot on the way. Scores. They didn't call the foul. That was probably fortunate for Chase Wagner. Down the floor. Flores. Oh, you got to call that. No good, but the follow by Hurleman is good. Quick transition. 44-38. Run and gun now. Going the other way. Wagner bodies up. Cross-court pass. Hutchins, 4-3. It's no good. Flores with a rebound. Crossover dribble down the floor. Hands left to Collette. Going to run the ball again. Top of the key. Back to Berge. Long three. Good! Berge with an answer and back to within 3. 44-41. 3:26 left to play in the third period. Kids do not give up. Left wing 3 on the way. Over the back. No good. Whistle foul from behind, and they're going to give Rene a shot. As Rene got the backside rebound on an air ball out of the corner by Trent Ward, and he goes back to the line. You cannot give him freebies like that. Fouled him from behind. I'm not sure who they whistled that on.
I think Berge. I think I saw 24. Boy, I wish they'd put it up on the scoreboard. But again, an air ball.
Yeah.
Or badly missed.
Free throw good by Rene. So Rene in the ball game now has 8. That's 5 this quarter. Goebel back into the ball game for Banks, playing with 3 personal fouls. You get a 4th on him, and it didn't matter. Rene gets them both. 46-41. Banks with a 5-point lead again. 3:15 left to play in the third. Collette, high screen, top of the key 3. Hard glass, no good. Rebound. Tip. Cheesemakers get it back. Berge had a look, didn't take it. Baseline inside to Wagner with a left hand again. He finishes with a left hand beautifully as Chase Wagner gets the bucket. It's a 3-point game again. Wagner out. Now, Rene down the lane, scooped, and he missed it. Wagner with a rebound. Outlet going to push. Right side to Flores. Back to Berge. Pump fake. Now he's going to drive into the corner. Lost it. Got it back again. Lost it again. Goebel with the ball. Tipped. Tillamook out of bounds. It'll be Banks' ball. 2:40 left to play in the third. 46-43. Cheesemakers competing. You thought they could have rolled over there, the 15 seed in this tournament, but not yet. Cheesemakers trying to earn a state trophy. The winner today can finish no worse than 5th. Rene on top against Wagner. That's a mismatch if he drives. Off to Goebel. Goebel down the lane. Tough shot from 6. No good. Berge, great job on the backside board. Outlet Cheesemakers. Sideline left, they run. Collette, hesitation dribble. Into the corner he goes. Crossover, beat his man there. Goes into Goebel. Doesn't get it to go. Perleman with the follow, puts it up. Didn't get it to go. Rebound. Goebel gets it again. And Goebel could have picked up number 4 on 2 different occasions there, but didn't get it. Rene on top. Goes behind his back. Whistle foul. Going to be on Wagner.
Oh, that is a tough matchup.
And Wagner can't come out and guard him on the perimeter, and that's the 4th team foul. And he's going to get the 5th here if he has to go out and guard him there as well. Wagner's got to look at it because he's pushing. Got to be careful. With the ball on top. Inside Rene gets it down low, takes it, and there's 5.
Well, it depends on if it's Hurleman or Wagner.
It could be Hurleman from behind, but I don't know. I don't think you could argue with either of them. It is Wagner, and he's done. Well, you can write that one down. Wagner fouls out, and I cannot tell you what a huge factor he's been in this ball game. With 1:51 left to play in the third. When Banks went on their big run, 19-1, Wagner watched it from the bench, and Rene goes to the line. Cheesemakers could not match up. Greg was all over Tina on the far side again. She just shakes her head. Second free throw's good as well. 48-43. Well, never knew it wasn't going to be easy coming here. Somebody's going to have to step up. Berge on top. Off to Collette. Collette, down the lane he goes. Stops. Little fade from 6. No good. Hurleman with a follow. Doesn't get to go. Goebel with a follow, or with a touch. No good. Cheesemakers come down. Left side. Berge. 3, and he hits. Jackson Johnson somehow dug that thing out of there. and the Cheesemakers drained a Berge 3 left wing, and with 1:20 left to play in the third, it is a 2-point game. Rene travels with the ball, and there he does. Cheesemakers turn it over. Nice job by Ramon Flores. Cheers from one side, boos from the other. Tina's heard it all before, but she made the big call there on the spin move by Rene, who's trying to take the game over again like he can do. And the Cheesemakers get it back down by 2 with 1:13 left to play in the third. Ian Collette with the ball. Cheesemakers going double big with Perleman and Johnson on the inside now. Ramon, left side on the drive, top of the key, stop, hands back to Berge. Berge working against Ward. Berge inside, lost it, ball goes to the floor, and it's jump ball. Tillamook will maintain possession.
A lot of hands reaching in there.
50 seconds left to play. We have not complained much about the officiating, and I would say that it hasn't been a factor in the ball game, the factor in the ball game. Berge inbound off to Flores on top. They run the inbound play and now set it up. Free throw extended right side to Collette. Collette with 45 seconds left. Tillamook will not pull for the final shot. They normally do at this point. Go to Flores on the baseline. Collette, he stops. Now he's going to drive. Hands off to Johnson. Johnson inside, doesn't get it to go. Rebound comes down to Goebel. Have a man breaking the other end. They didn't see him. 30 seconds left, and Rene will bring it down. Flores comes out to meet him with 23 seconds left by midcourt. Rene as they clear the floor. No reason to come out too tight with 15 seconds left. Rene now going to get a double high screen. Oh, caught a knee, no call. Out on top, Rene kicks it left. Open three. No, he travels with the ball. He did. Cheesemakers will get it back going the other way.
Got happy feet getting squared up there.
He did. There was a good old shuffle. And with 3.8 remaining in the third period, down by 2, the Cheesemakers get the ball back, 3/4 court away. Ian Collette. He'll come to midcourt. He'll stop, crossover, get the screen. Left wing shot is no good, and that's the end of the third period of play. It's 48-46. Wait. Oh, there's a foul. They're calling a foul on a moving screen away from the ball on Tyler Hurleman. Wow. It's not a shooter, and I never should open my mouth. 48-46, Banks after 3. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Half a second or a second or...
Yeah, that sounded when he caught it.
The happy trigger finger on the side, or on the game clock there. I think the official dropped his arm.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the... I just don't want us to pick up a foul here.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. And you hear the horn sound. That's the end of the third period.
For the third time.
For the third time. As after the foul, they put 1 second on the clock. They gave Banks the ball on the far side. They inbounded it, but the official scorer, the clock started too early because the buzzer sounded as soon as they touched it inbounds. And so they had to go back and redo it again. And Flores stole the ball. And now we finally have finished the third period of play. The third period is over. It's 48-46. We'll keep this right here since we've already got our end of the third quarter break. So if you look back at the 3 games, the Cheesemakers had the lead in Tillamook after 3 and then had that disaster of a fourth period. They led by 8. In the other 2 games, they were down by 9 and down by 11. Down by only 2, still a ball game as the Cheesemakers trailing. Goebel that quarter ends up racking up to 11. He had 8 in the quarter, and he was the difference so far in the game. 37% shooting for Banks from the 2-point area, or that's overall, and they are 13 out of 15. Cheesemakers have only shot 4 or made 4 free throws. They're 4 out of 8, so double the free throws, Banks, for Tillamook.
And between Goebel and Rene, they are 12 out of 13.
Yeah. On top, breaks the pressure. Free throw line jumper on the way. No good. Rebound, Johnson. Johnson outlet, Collette. Collette 2-on-2 break, top of the key. Now he's going to take it in himself all the way to the hole, puts it up and in, right over Goebel.
Make a call.
And we are tied, and you're right, they did not make the call on Goebel. On top with the ball, Banks back. Cheesemakers have tied it up. Pass inside, baseline, threw it away. Good defense by Tyler Hurleman, who's done a nice job on Goebel on the inside. There's a couple of big bodies there battling it out. Just underway, final period.
And Rene's out of the game.
As Rene sits down, he'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
As Rene in the ball game has he's 7 for 7 from the line, has 11 points in the game. He has 11. Goebel has 11. Still 9 for Kylan Taylor, who had that 9 in the first half. Cheesemakers earn the lead back with a bucket this trip down. Collette stopped by Evans on the right wing. On top, they dump it down low, throw it away. Tried to alley-oop it over to Hurleman on the inside. Evans on the right side, double team, kicks off, gets it into the corner. Oh, he traveled with the ball, going to get it back. Kicks off, Evans, 3. It is no good. Hurleman, backside rebound. Outlet goes to Collette. Tie ball game still. Down the floor, Collette to the hole and scores. Tough drive. And Ian Collette has given the Cheesemakers the lead back.
I love seeing him attack the basket.
50-48. Whistle foul, going to be Collette on the other end. He went for a wraparound, tip away from behind, but Cameron moved into him and created contact. Cheesemakers guards have played a lot of minutes tonight. We'll see if they can keep it up for the final 6 minutes and 48 seconds of this ball game. It was only 5 fouls, and then all of a sudden it went to 7. And so,
they must not have put. I don't think they put that last one, weird one by.
Okay. Free throw is no good. Ball tipped out of bounds off Tillamook. As the missed free throw by Brett Cameron will give Banks the ball out of bounds underneath their own bucket. The winner plays in the state semifinals tomorrow night at 8:15. To think the Cheesemakers are a quarter away from possibly doing that is just unbelievable.
Just phenomenal, isn't it?
Cameron with the ball on the outside. Hands off right wing. Long 3 on the way is good by Taylor. Taylor, who did not hurt the Cheesemakers all year long in 3 games, has 12 in this game from the 3-point line. Collette, right wing, out on top. Johnson almost threw it away. They go back door, and now he does. That's tip. Cheesemakers. Oh, Cheesemakers going to get it back. That's really fortunate.
That's a break.
Tillamook will get it back. Goebel goes out. Rene comes back in. Inbound, Berge goes to Johnson right under the bucket, lays it up and in. I don't know how you lose Johnson. He's kind of a big kid. But he slid in the back door. Nobody saw him, and he laid it up and in. Tillamook regains the lead, 52-51. Tight ball game in front of a huge crowd here in Banks, in Fort Stroke. Shot on a spin move is up and in by Cameron. It hung on the rim and finally fell. It's 53-52. Banks. Give and go. Collette inside. Oh, blow the whistle. I didn't hear it. They did. All the place stopped. He scores as Collette gets it to go. That was a weak whistle, but the whistle was there, and he goes to the line. I told you it was a foul as Collette, double clutch, triple clutch, finally threw it up in the air. It went in, and a weak whistle on the far end blows, and Collette cannot convert, and Hurleman now whistled for the foul, and Rene going to shoot free throws at the other end as Hurleman tried to tip it out.
We're struggling at the free throw line.
Yes, we are. Third foul on Tyler Perleman.
That's 1 out of 4 for Ian.
Wow. Free throws huge in this ball game.
Oh, and it's Rennie, too.
Rene has not missed a free throw the entire night. Cheesemakers 4 out of 9 from the free throw line. 54-53 Tillamook, but Rene to shoot 1-on-1 on the 8th team foul, and he missed it. Johnson rebound and then gave it right back to Rene. Shot on the way, no good. Good defense by Johnson. Well, Banks didn't think it was good defense. They're booing. Hands back. Berge, 3. Good! Berge, 3, left wing. Cheesemakers by 4. 57-53. And Banks wants timeout. The Cheesemakers have battled back. There is no quit in this group. 5:21 left to play in the game. 57-53. Tillamook back in 1 minute.
I don't really think that was a foul.
I don't think it was.
So awkward.
Yeah. Well, and all
big swing, but I don't think he made much contact.
And all Rene wanted was to,
he was just
flailing.
Foul.
Yeah,
flailing is right.
Welcome back to state championship basketball action, 4A championship basketball action. OSAA US Bank, Les Schwab Tires. Cheesemakers lead 57-53 with 5:21 left to play in the game. Still a ton of time remaining. Cheesemakers back on defense as Banks brings it in. On top, Taylor, left side. And it's going to be Johnson muscling inside against Rene. Johnson doesn't need to muscle Rene. He can play actually behind him. Rene, not a post-up player. And that is the 9th team foul as opposed to 4 against Tillamook. And free throws could cost the Cheesemakers this ball game. 1-on-1 by Rene, who has only missed 1 free throw in the game. He gets this one. He is 8 out of 10 now from the free throw line.
Hasn't even hardly taken any shots from the field, but
he keeps forcing the action, and he's gotten bailed out a few times as well. He gets them both, and it's 57-55. Cheesemakers lead is 2. They bring it down the floor, left to right. Collette taps himself on top of the head. Now he's going to go inside, tips it off, loose, out on top. Berge can't control, stolen there by Taylor. Turned over. Taylor, crossover down the lane, stolen back. Cheesemakers, full break. Collette the other way. Breakaway, layup. 2. Cheesemakers with a 4-point lead again. Great job by Jackson Johnson, not only on the block and the stop, but then the outlet pass for the easy breakaway. Cameron on top, right side Rene. Go post up inside, tipped away and a steal again. Inside, Collette, 1-on-3, down the lane. He's hacked. He'll go to the line to shoot 2, unless they call it on the ground. Yep, they'll say it's before the shot.
And that's probably right.
Yeah, he didn't get off the ground because he got thumped pretty hard. Cheesemaker fans not going to like that, but I think it's probably right.
Yeah.
They don't realize yet. As he began his crossover move, Greg exasperated on the far side. I don't disagree with that call.
No, and it could have gone either way, but that wasn't a bad call.
No. Cheesemakers bring it in underneath their own bucket. 4-point lead, 4:32 left to play in the game. You wanted a good game out here. You've gotten it. Cheesemakers get double teamed. Fortunate to get out of it. Kick left side. Berge pump fake into the corner. Flores for 3. He hits. He scores a 3 as Ramon Flores drained it out of the corner. And they'll count it. The foul's going to be against the Cheesemakers. Hurleman on the back side. and they'll walk to the other end to shoot 2.
Well, that guy, I don't know. You know, it's not anything we watch, but that's
So foul on the backside is going to be Hurleman, and Hurleman picks up his 4th personal foul, and boy, has he been huge in this ball game. Limited minutes all year long. And already with Chase Wagner sitting on the bench and to the other end, goes Rene again to shoot free throws. Rene just lives at the free throw line. 62-56. Huge 3 by Ramon Flores. It's been a long time since he'd hit a 3. As Rene gets them both. 62-57. 5-point Tillamook lead. 4:20 left. Ton of time. Turnover Cheesemakers. Left side Cameron. Cameron to Hutchins. 4-3. In and out, no good. Hurleman, rebound. Cheesemakers fortunate there.
Yep.
Hutchins had a wide open look at the 3. Ian Collette, clear out by midcourt. Dives in, now backs out. Going to wait and goes left side to Flores. Off to Collette. Collette between his legs. Good defense there. Whistle foul going to be on Cameron. And they've got to get the foul to where the Cheesemakers will be shooting.
Yep.
Banks fans did not like that. Ian Collette cramping up a little bit as he's trying to stretch out that left quad, ham, ankle, something. I think it's a calf. 3:47 left to play in the game.
That was Banks' 16th foul there.
Yep. 62-57. Hurleman, free throw extended right side. Berge with Hutchins all over him. Slapping him. Left wing. Hands off to Collette. 3.5 left to play. Cheesemakers trying to shorten this game. Collette going to drive inside all the way to the hole. Scoop. Has it checked out of bounds. Collette thought he got fouled. Not this time. 3:19 left to play in the game. 62-57. Inbound, Johnson gets it again underneath. He scores, and he is fouled. I don't know how they don't see him. Under the bucket.
Hurleman, maybe having 2 bigs makes a difference.
Jackson Johnson sitting on the doorstep on the backside, catches it, lays it in, and he's fouled, and he goes to the line. 3:18 left. Jackson, free throw. No good. Flores can't control. He had it in his hand for the offensive board, but instead, Rene comes away with it. Cheesemakers will be shooting from here on out at the free throw line. Rene going down the lane. Throws left. Threw it out of bounds, I believe. It'll be Cheesemakers' ball. I got screened off. I couldn't really tell what happened.
He drove in, ran into a couple of guys, spun in the air, and threw it between Gobel's legs.
They're going to wait till they get some wet stuff off the floor there on the far side as Rene a little bit out of control. Cheesemakers good defense there.
Trying to do too much, and Johnson just backed off, and it kind of threw him for a loop. You know, when you expect to draw contact, and all of a sudden there's nobody there, it's hard to have your body adjust.
Heads up play by Jackson Johnson with 4 personal fouls, and the Cheesemakers will bring it down with 3 minutes left. Banks going to stay in the man-to-man defense, I believe. Yep, they will not come out and trap as Collette gets it across the timeline. Going to dribble right side. Gets stopped. Whistle foul. It's going to be on Rene. I didn't see that one.
No.
And to the line with their 8th team foul. So Tillamook has 2 1-and-1s. And boy, Ian Collette, do we need you now, buddy? He carried the Cheesemakers through Eastern Oregon. Free throw. Left it short. Rebound Hurleman. Banks it up and in. Cheesemakers gets a follow from the big guy off the bench. Cheesemakers near side tipped it almost into our lap as Tillamook leads 66-57 with 2:44 left.
Huge play by Tyler.
Huge play by Tyler Hurleman. Said all along that somebody's going to step up down the stretch that isn't one of the 2 or 3 guys you expect. Near side, Rene. Oh, he's got Johnson on him. That's a tough matchup. Johnson inside. Oh, he travels with the ball. No call. But Hurleman with the steal. Hurleman stops. Whistle. Foul. He's going to get fouled by Goebel. That'll be the 9th foul, so even if you miss these free throws, which Tillamook has done a lot of, they'll be shooting double bonus for the rest of the game with 2:28 left to play.
That's huge. You get in that last minute and you're not in that 1-and-1. What a difference that makes.
Timeout on the floor, and the Cheesemaker fans are on their feet. There's 2:28 left to play in the game. 66 for Tillamook, 57 for Banks. Back in 1 minute.
Rennie just trying to do way too much. Wow.
I was feeling fine through that third quarter. Going back to OSAA State Championship basketball action, Cheesemakers will be shooting free throws. It'll be Tyler Hurleman. How big has he been in this ball game? Tyler Hurleman used very seldom, but Chase Wagner fouled out with 1:51 left in the third quarter. 1-and-1 free throws by Hurleman. Free throw on the way. It is no good. Tillamook, tough night from the line. If they win this, it'll be despite their free throw shooting. Rene going to bring it down. Feeds into the corner. Three-pointer on the way. It's good. Don't know how you can leave that open. It's a 6-point Tillamook lead. And the steal in backcourt. Out of bounds off Tillamook. Cheesemakers cannot panic. Back-to-back mistakes there. First of all, left Taylor wide open out of the corner for the three, and then turned it over on the inbound. As they have some more wet stuff on the floor, they'll use the rag that was right in front of us.
Boy, that was a loose ball that Flores would have gotten.
Yeah.
But
Collette dove,
and the collision got the ball out of bounds.
Cheesemakers now going to call timeout with 2:28. We'll leave this one right here, even though it's a full timeout. So the Cheesemakers were up by 9 with 2:28 left. Remember that. Hope you don't have to go back to that as we go back to that first game in Tillamook. Many of you were there that are listening tonight. The Cheesemakers were ahead 55-47 and ended up, Banks went on 2 8-0 runs late to pick up the victory. The Cheesemakers certainly the underdog here. They battled their way all the way back after being down by as many as 11. They were down 39-28. So the Cheesemakers have somehow got themselves back into this ball game and now lead 66-60 with a state trophy on the line. 2:08 left to play in the game. Banks will have the ball right in front of us as we sit courtside here over FM 95.9 KHIL in Tillamook. Double bonus for both teams here on out. Pass inside, Rene at the elbow left. Going to try to drive, stop there. Hands back to Evans. Evans to Hutchins. Off to Rene. Rene cut off there. Long three again by Taylor. This one's no good. Rebound. Hurleman can't get it. Loose. Whistle foul's going to be Hurleman. Guess who? Rene's going to the line. Ball was loose and Hurleman going after it. Rene ended up going down to the floor, and he'll go to the line to shoot two with 1:54 left.
And I think that is Tyler's fifth.
As we'll throw a towel into him and give him, it's actually more of a wet rag than a towel. It's very small. Rene goes to the free throw line, and Taylor will get ready to come back in. As the Cheesemakers, 6-point lead, Hurleman sits down. Standing ovation from the Cheesemaker fans on the far side.
That was a tough call there because that was
a tough
just
call.
Loose ball and bodies kind of get knocked around.
So Rene to the free throw line as Anthony Taylor comes in, shooting 2, and he, with a shooter's touch, knocks it down.
Taylor hits the bench with 8 points tonight. Tyler Perlman.
Cheesemakers got a screen off the board. Second free throw good as well. So 5 in a row scored by Banks. Clear the floor as Ian Collette will bring it down. As guarding him, hands across to Anthony Taylor. Oh, he gets hammered. And Banks steals the ball and calls timeout. I mean, Taylor just got chopped on the arm and didn't get the call. All over on the far side. Fans booing. You can hear them from Tillamook. As Taylor got chopped on the arm, didn't get the break on top, and then rolling to his back, calling timeout. Banks, they give him the timeout. So back-to-back breaks go to the Banks Braves. Cheesemakers are owed one down the stretch here somewhere.
Yeah, we need to stop right here, get this thing back in our possession.
Minute 44 as the ebb and flow is certainly going the wrong way for the Cheesemakers right now. 66-62, Cheesemakers by 4. They were up by 9 30 seconds ago. Banks will bring it in at midcourt after back-to-back turnovers. They came out and muscled Ian Collette in backcourt. Didn't get the foul. They pushed it off to Taylor on the right wing. He got across the timeline. He got chopped good on the arm. They didn't call a thing. Hutchins came up with it, rolled to his back, holding the ball, whistled timeout, and they gave it to him.
That's 12 turnovers for Tillamook, 14 for Banks tonight.
Collette still massaging that right calf that's been cramping up on him.
Well, this must be a slick floor.
Goebel beats his man down the floor, left side, takes the hole, lays it up and in. Inbound, Cheesemakers almost turn it over. Ahead to Collette. Collette, whistle foul in the reach, going to be on Hutchins.
And Hutchins has never committed a foul in his life.
Never. Minute 33 left. The Cheesemakers twice almost turned the ball over there.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get something to settle down. Ian Collette, struggling with that calf, has left everything short down the stretch, including free throws. Again, but it goes in. It was short the whole way, but somehow it caught a little bit, and then it ran along the right side of the rim and fell down. Second free throw. Good. 68-64. Cheesemakers by 4. Banks with the ball. Tillamook desperately needs to stop. Rene down the lane to the hole. Oh, top shot with the left hand gets it to go. 68-66. Anthony Taylor in backcourt across the timeline to Flores. Flores hands to Collette. Collette double team. Hack, no, call. Off to Flores. Down the lane. Taylor to the hole. Scores! Cheesemakers, great break by Anthony Taylor. 70-66. Right wing 3. It's tipped, I guess, out of bounds as it'll be Banks' ball. It went behind the basket. It'll be Banks underneath with 1 minute left to play in the game.
I think Collette swatted that 3 as he went flying by.
Must have gotten a piece of it because that was so far off.
Yeah, one of his rare block shots.
70-66. Cheesemakers by 4. They can move to the semis if they can hang on. They'll inbound out to Rene. Rene, step through. Tough shot. Oh, gets bailed out. Come on. Rene goes down like he got kicked in the groin. You got to be kidding me. Cheesemaker fans cannot believe it on the far side. Jackson Johnson with a big swing. I don't think he touched a stinking thing, and Rene went down like he was just hammered by 5 people. Ridiculous. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Jackson Johnson, 4th personal foul.
This game better not go to overtime.
Nope. Cheesemakers don't have many left. Rene to shoot 2. He's missed 1 tonight. Free throw, good. He'll end up with about 24 points because that's where he usually ends up against the Cheesemakers. He has 20 right now. and Tillamook wants timeout. 56.6 seconds left to play in the game. Ian Collette does not even go to the huddle. He just stands by the scores table trying to stretch that right calf out. 70-67. What a huge play last trip down. The Cheesemakers trying to play keep away, and all of a sudden Flores found Taylor streaking right down the middle of the floor, got it all the way to the hoop, and never hesitated. Laid it up and in. Cheesemakers went up by 4, but Banks gets bailed out. I mean, bailed out on the far end with the foul going the other way. And now Rene can make it a 2-point game. 70-67, 56.6 seconds remaining. There'll be 3 Kawapa League teams in the semifinals. The question is, will the third one be Banks or Tillamook? It would be the Cinderella story of the century if it is Tillamook. 11-16 coming into this ball game. Pulled back-to-back upsets in Eastern Oregon. Now they're trying to beat a team who's beaten them 3 times this year. All 3 times this year.
And this has been a great game.
Oh, great game.
You look at across the day, easily the best game here.
Yeah.
And high scoring.
70-67. Rene gets the second free throw.
Got a rebound to miss.
Free throw on the way. It is good. 70-68. Collette in backcourt with the ball. Let him clear so you don't run into a double team. Collette gets it down the floor to Johnson. Hands back to Berge. Berge to Johnson to Berge. And Johnson is fouled. Wise choice by Banks. Worst free throw shooter on the floor for the Cheesemakers. We told you a long time ago that this is going to come down to free throws, and the Cheesemakers have struggled. Jackson Johnson on the year has struggled. Now's the time. This is for the senior. One dribble, puts it up. He missed it.
Good thing we're going 2 here. At least got another chance.
Yep, double bonus. 70-68. Getting coaching from the sideline. Second free throw. Missed them both. Rebound. Banks has it. It's a 2-point game. Banks with the ball. Tillamook with the 2-point lead. High screen on top. Rene, don't foul him. Rene spins. Oh, he traveled. No call. Takes it up. He scores. We're tied at 70. 25 seconds remaining. Cheesemakers want to play for the final shot. Banks, I guess, is going to let him. With 15 seconds remaining. Taylor. I don't know. Ian knows he's getting 5 seconds count now. Down the lane, hands off. Flores to the hoop. He scores! Flores scores. 4 seconds left. Backcourt. Rene. Don't foul him. From midcourt, he throws it up. Off the front rim. Back rim. It's no good. Did they call the foul? Tina said something on the far side. The game is over. The Cheesemakers have won it. The Cheesemakers have won it. The refs have left the floor. Flores scores at the buzzer as the Cheesemakers win it 72-70. Banks laying on the floor. Tears in the Banks frame, and the Cheesemakers have won it 72-70 here in a thriller. You better help me out. I just lost my voice.
Well, I'll tell you, that you cannot have a more exciting, every possession down the stretch, one team would score, the next team would score, the next team would answer. I mean, that was a great series of about 6 possessions. We scored on Ian drew 4 guys to him. And a great cross the key pass. Flores finished, and then it was mayhem out there.
So what happened? I'll try to recount it because I'm sure my call gave you no clue of what happened.
Well, I don't even know.
Cheesemakers, I thought we're going to hold the ball out for the final shot. At about 15 seconds, all of a sudden, Ian Collette saw a little seam on the right side. He drives down the lane, and it looks like he's going to go to the hole. He drew 4 guys to him. He scooped underneath, flipped it back door to Ramon Flores, who took it high off the glass, rattled it around, and it went down. Cheesemakers then were up by 2. They inbound the ball to Rene. Rene outlets as he runs to midcourt. And as the buzzer was about to sound from just across midcourt, he threw a shot up on the way, and the whistle sounded. The ball hit the back rim. It hit the front rim. It went high in the air, and it just kind of hesitated there, and then it fell away. Banks believes from the far side that they had called a foul because Tina was right in front of the bench on the far side, and Tina came running over to the near side, talked to the other official. The official said, no foul, or the shot was after the foul. I don't know which, but either way, they both said, no, that's it, and they headed for the locker room, and we lost our voice, and the game is over, and the Cheesemakers have pulled the upset. Cannot believe the Cheesemakers at 12 now and 16 are playing in the state semifinals tomorrow night right here at Pacific University. The band celebrating on the far side. I told you a while ago, I told you with a minute left in the game, we were owed a break because we got a couple of bad breaks down the stretch. The biggest break of the game came our way, and the Cheesemakers win it 72-70 here as Banks on a buzzer beater rimmed it out twice and did not get the foul call. And the game, my friends, is all ours.
Can you believe it?
No.
And you believe it. And I'll tell you, we had kids, like we said, not just Ian Collette, who had a great game. Berge hit some great shots down the stretch, but Flores, Herleman, Wagner,
Taylor down the stretch.
Johnson battle. We had a lot of kids contributing there. Great team effort.
We got a lot to talk about on Sports Extra. Thomas, if you're listening, which I know you are back there, waiting for us to go to break, we're going to go to a 2-minute break. Give us time to collect ourselves since we completely lost at the end of that one.
Lost our mind.
Completely lost our mind and our voices, and now we have 2 more days in a row to play as the Cheesemakers are going to bring a trophy home, and it's no worse than 5th.
Oh, that is amazing. And what a time to be playing your best basketball against favored teams 3 in a row, elimination games in some cases.
Yep.
Not tonight, but the last 2, and we just have played our best basketball of the year in 3 straight games.
The Cheesemakers win it in an absolute thriller, 72-70 here at Pacific University. We're going to take a 2-minute break. 2 minutes, Thomas. A 2-minute break. We'll be back with Sports Extra after this.
Wow. Those were 2 of the best back-to-back games.
Oh, can you believe that?
2 of the best back-to-back games that you could imagine. Incredible. No. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff going on, but it wasn't. No. And then bodies started, there were bodies just laying around. Look at that.
Oh, man, that hurts for them.
Yep. And I didn't think Ramones was going to fall in when he first let it go. And it kind of spun. Done. Because Johnson would have fouled out shortly. Yep, not a chance.
2-minute break. 2-minute break.
Collette didn't come out of the game. And Berge hit some big shots. Look at that.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball and Cinderella's ball. Cinderella is at the ball.
The music's still playing, isn't
and
it?
the music is playing as the Tillamook High School pep band entertaining themselves on the far side, and there are a lot of hugs and joy. In Booksville on the far side as the Cheesemakers have pulled the huge upset here again. And what you said as well, Bruce, at the break, two of the most exciting, thrilling back-to-back games I have seen in Tillamook basketball in years, and I never would have picked this year as being the year that we'd see those.
No, and you got to give this team credit. They came out of the gate, 2-9
Yep.
or whatever, lost 7 straight early with injuries and sickness, kind of got their feet under them, and then ground their way through the toughest league in the state. And again, they got everybody healthy. They got their kind of team mojo figured out, and they've been riding this train now for about 2 weeks, and it has been quite a ride.
Quite a ride. Cheesemakers win it 72-70. Let me tell you how it happened if you're just joining us. Cheesemakers actually took the lead early. They built it up to 7-point lead in the first quarter. They led at the end of the first quarter by 7 at 18-11. Actually, the largest lead of the period was 9 as the Cheesemakers led 18-9 at one point, but they led 18-11 at the end of the first period of play. The Cheesemakers in that second period just struggled as Banks went on a 15-1 run as the Tillamook Cheesemakers were trailing 31-28 at halftime, and things didn't look good, and they got worse opening the third quarter. They went down 35-28 and then 39-30. All of a sudden, it was a 9-point lead for Banks, and they looked like they were cruising along pretty darn easily. And then the Cheesemakers, Wagner came in. He made a lot happen. He played with 3 fouls, and all of a sudden he picked up foul number 4. And then quickly, next trip down the floor, before they could get a sub in for him, he picked up foul number 5.
Now, Hurleman was actually sitting at the scoring table and couldn't get in the game.
And Wagner fouled out with 1:51 left in the third, down by 5. And I wrote it down on here because I really thought that was the end for the Cheesemakers because he was such a difference maker. Enter Tyler Hurleman. Tyler Hurleman, for the next quarter, made it all worthwhile. The year that he spent with so little playing time, he made it all worthwhile because without Tyler Hurleman, Tillamook does not win this ball game.
Oh, not at all. He got offensive rebounds and putbacks. He got defensive rebounds, and he drew people. He drew attention a couple of times and opened up the lane for Jackson Johnson.
So Tyler Hurleman comes in. The Cheesemakers finally took a lead again at 50-48. So they were down, let's check it, 44-36. So they had a 14-4 run in that stretch to take the lead back 50-48 early in the fourth. They then built that lead up to 9. They were up 66-57 with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left, and you thought, who knows? You might win this ball game. Not confident then. Banks called a timeout. Cheesemakers inbound. Banks hit a 3. Tillamook turned it over. They hit a 2. 2 free throws by Rene. Cheesemakers inbound. They got it down the floor. Got hacked, no call. Banks called a timeout when they should have had a traveling. And we told you at that time the Cheesemakers had a break coming their way. The Tillamook Cheesemakers then get a high five from Bob Lee. Great job by his band on the far side, and a huge crowd tonight by the Cheesemakers over there. As the Cheesemakers were up 66-64, they then got it to the other end. I don't remember how they scored their second to the last bucket. It wasn't free throws, or maybe it was. Ian Collette with 2 free throws.
No, missed all of our free throws.
I think Ian might have hit 2, but I'm not positive about that. As Banks got to within 4, it was 70-66. Banks got.
Yeah, he did.
He
did.
One
on a shooter's touch and rolled in, and then the next to swish. Yep.
And so 70-66. Cheesemakers were up by 4. Banks comes down. They get 2 free throws again by Rennie, who had 15 out of 16 on the game. The Cheesemakers got to the other end. They couldn't get a shot to go, and all of a sudden, Banks had the ball and a chance to tie. and Rene made an acrobatic shot down the lane, scooped with the left hand. It looked like Ian Collette except a foot taller. And he scooped it up and scored. And then all the pressure that Banks had brought, they backed off. It was a tie game, 70-70 with 30 seconds left. They backed off. Ian Collette came down across the timeline. It looked like he was just going to hold the ball out for the final 30 seconds. And normally what you see a team do is you take a timeout, set up something. Greg rolled the dice, or Ian Collette rolled the dice, as he saw a little seam on the right side with about 15 seconds left. He took it down the lane, in against pressure, 4 guys inside, and a wraparound pass from behind to Ramon Flores breaking to the hoop, scooped it up, laid it up, and both of you said the same thing at break. I thought he missed it. He laid it off the glass, hit the iron, bounced twice, and fell down. And the Cheesemakers had a 2-point lead, and when I looked up, there's 4.5 seconds remaining. Banks did not call a timeout. They inbounded to Rene. Rene pushed it across backcourt to midcourt. Cheesemakers were there defensively. He took one dribble. Cheesemakers went up. I don't remember. It was about 10 feet in front of me, and I can't tell you who was there, if it was Johnson, if it was Flores.
Flores ended up crawled on the floor at the end.
Or who it was, but at the buzzer, and it may have been after the buzzer. I don't know. I didn't see if the official called after the buzzer or if he was going to count it if it went. The ball hit off the iron once, high in the air, all the way above the backboard, hit off the iron again, and by then there were just bodies laying all over the floor, and everybody's watching the ball because if it goes, Banks wins at 73-72. That's if they would have counted it, which I don't know if they would have counted it or not. At the same time, on the far side, apparently Tina blew her whistle clear across the floor in front of the Banks bench. So Banks is expecting 3 free throws for Rene. Tina comes running across the floor to the official on the near side. They talk, they wave their hands and say the game's over, and they head to the locker room. And that is the first time, I believe, that I really thought Tillamook won the game. 72-70 Cheesemakers.
And it may have been the first time that I really wanted to hug Tina.
That is true.
If she would have stuck around, I probably would have hugged her.
Oh, man, what a ball game. 72-70 Cheesemakers with the victory, and the Cheesemaker fans are thrilled, as are we. Bruce is going to have the stats and more here on Sports Extra after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center.
And you just wonder what was in her head. You like to go talk to her, would you? Just to see what they saw there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if she thought it might be a foul, and then it's just kind of crazy to know what they were looking at.
We put 26 on the board in the last.
Holy smokes. 26-22 in a high-energy fourth.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker basketball. As Tillamook Cheesemakers, just noticed, scored 26 points in the final quarter.
And that's
tired 26 too.
Yeah, that's going all out the whole game. There was no rest in that game.
As you can see, Ian Collette played every minute. Jacob Berge played all but 2.
Yeah.
Bruce, what about the rest of the stats? As Tillamook wins at 72-70, and they're going to play in the state semifinals tomorrow night at Forest Grove High School.
Yahoo! That is amazing. And when we went into halftime and we had that dud of a second period, got outscored 20-10. We said, well, maybe that was, kind of the lull of the day, and they would play better second half. And I'm telling you, scored 18 in the third, 26 in the fourth. Overall, we shot just a smidge over 50%, 50.8, so 51%. Put up 59 shots, made 30 of those, including 6 out of 13 threes, and Berge was 4 out of 5 from three-point range. And, boy, a couple of them were just crucial as all get out in that fourth period. Overall, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in the scorebook. Collette with 24, Berge 13, Wagner with 10 before he fouled out. So you put Wagner and Hurleman together, that's 18 points. 10 for Chase, 8 for Tyler. That's an awesome duo. Jackson Johnson with 4, but made some great plays in there.
Played a great game.
Yeah, Flores with 11, including the game winner with 4 seconds to go. Wow. And I love this. We ended up with 16 turnovers, which, normally I wouldn't be thrilled with 16. But in a game with that pace, and you look at the last 2 or 3 games, we've been 20-plus every time. That's not bad. That's not bad in a game like that.
Especially when about 4 of them came right down the stretch.
Yes, yeah. Banks, they ended up shooting 40%, did not shoot the ball very well, but, boy, free throw-wise, 21 out of 25, including 15 out of 16 by Rennie, who ended up with his season low against us.
Yeah.
We held him to 23 points.
I told him he's going to end with 24.
Yep.
He ended
Goebel,
with 23.
13. Taylor, who hurt us from the outside, 15. And I'll tell you, that was a great effort. It was a gut check.
Oh.
The second half of the season, you and I many times would look at each other and say, hey, you think we can win a close game down the stretch?
Yeah. And I didn't believe 3 weeks ago we could.
Exactly.
And, boy, this is it.
Yeah, starting with Ontario and then finishing strong against LeGrand. And a game like this, there is no better kind of a finish than what we just put on. Again, we made plays about 5 or 6 right at the most crucial time of that game. It was incredible.
Gutsy like I've never seen a group of kids who really have limited talent when you're looking at the rest of the teams in this tournament. And yet here they are playing in the state semifinals, one of the top 4 teams in the state, sharing that with 3 Coapa League teams, Tillamook, Valley Catholic, and Seaside. Boy, you got to get your hats off and take a bow there if you're a Cheesemaker, as the Tillamook Cheesemakers have won it 72-70. We'll be back with a look at tomorrow night's game after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center.
That was exciting, huh?
That was worth the trip, wasn't it?
That was worth the trip. Greg Dowsey out there hugging everybody.
He should be.
They couldn't get it on KTIL. They had to listen to OSA.
Who couldn't?
Your mom and dad.
Oh.
Kaylee.
Welcome back to Cheesemaker Basketball. The Tillamook Cheesemakers beat the Banks Braves by a final score of 72-70 here in the quarterfinals of the state 4A basketball championships, and I'm almost speechless.
Well, we're wondering if the team can play back-to-back.
I don't know.
Announce back-to-back?
I don't know. We may have to be on the injured reserve for a night as the Cheesemakers win it 72-70 here in the big upset. 4th time's a charm for Tillamook, and so tomorrow night they take on the Valley Catholic Valiants for the 3rd time this year. And Valley, probably the most talented team in the tournament. We'll see if they can cruise the way they did tonight as they just handled the Henley Hornets. They are long, they are athletic, they are as talented as any team you can find around, as the Cheesemakers played them tough out in their place, and they're very uninspired in that first game. And then in Tillamook, they just handled the Cheesemakers, beat them by 16, and it really wasn't that close. And Tillamook has not won a game on the second night of a back-to-back game this year. So all the cards say, nah, you got your work cut out for you tomorrow night. Be happy with the win tonight. But I got to tell you, I didn't know that we could beat Ontario. Probably didn't think we could because it's a long trip. I knew we couldn't beat LeGrand. And I thought we had a better chance here tonight against Banks than we had against LeGrand. And yet it still didn't think it was a great chance. And when you're down 9 in the third quarter, you had almost no chance unless you're just a little bit tougher than everybody thinks you are.
Yeah. I just want to mention something pretty classy. Dalton Rene, Banks' best player, they're in street clothes here, and he came over and gave Ian Collette, a little hug there and told him a great ball game.
Those two kids
classy.
play well and tough players. They're 2 really good juniors.
2 juniors
right there.
They have some future between them next year.
Oh, I hate to have to say goodbye, but that wraps it up. 8:15 game tomorrow night from Forest Grove High School. I hope you're not listening to us, and I hope you're out there instead, because the Tillamook Cheesemakers will take to the floor in a state semifinal game against a team that is 10 times the athletes and basketball team they are. But don't count them out.
You still got to play it.
You got to play it, and LeGrand didn't think they had to play it. Banks, I don't really thought they had to play it either. That's not the way it goes here, and that's not the way it is. The Cheesemakers moved to 12-16 on the year. And they're one game away from playing for a state championship.
Isn't that crazy?
Cheesemakers win it 72-70 in a thriller here from the state championship action of the 4A tournament at Pacific University. This has been Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. This has been Randy Shield along with Bruce Rhodes saying good night and good sports. It's been a KTIL Sports presentation.
Wow. Wow.
Way to play the game, guys.
My heart was just pounding. Oh, man.
That's 20 seconds.
I completely lost my voice.
Oh,
Really?
That was just one of those like, oh no, oh no. You would hate to look